Welcome to Denver Startup Week. I'm Ben Data, co-chair of DSW. This year marks the 10-year anniversary of Denver Startup Week. This community has been the catalyst for lots of change over the past decade, and this week we're coming together to celebrate the past and dream big for the future. We are able to bring Denver Startup Week to this community thanks to our 2021 sponsors. Thank you to our HQ and title sponsor, Amazon, and our title sponsors, whose leadership makes this week come to life. Capital One Cafe, Downtown Denver Partnership, Fluid Truck, Hotel Engine, and WeWork. And our track sponsors, who have made all of the great content you're hearing today possible. Founder Track, Kickstart, Growth Track, Friday Health Plans, Developer Track, Quizlet, Product Track, Palantir, Designer Track, Battery 621 in the Public Works, People Track, Exactly, and Spotlight event sponsor, Strat Labs. Our headline event sponsors are bringing the excitement this week. Thank you to B-Side Fun, Colorado Public Radio, Comcast, Coors Brewing Company, Denver Pavilions, Entrepreneurship at the University of Denver, Gusto, JP Morgan Chase, Method, Moss Adams, Pine Insurance, Promontory Mortgage Path, Red Bull Basement, Southwest, Tattered Cover, and VF Venture Foundry. Finally, thank you to our partner and member sponsors listed on the screen. Please say thank you to these companies as you enjoy our hybrid Denver Startup Week. And don't forget to use hashtag #DenStartupWeek to share your experience and moments of inspiration on social media. Have a great week.
Hello everyone, welcome to Denver Startup Week. I'm John, the Spotlight Track Chair and member of the Denver Startup Week Organizing Committee. Thank you for joining us for the 10th anniversary of Denver Startup Week. At Denver Startup Week, we strive to make all of our sessions a space where attendees can connect, learn, and grow regardless of age, gender identity, gender expression, race, ability, or sexual orientation. A special thank you to our sponsors for their support in helping us keep DSW free and accessible for all. Thank you for joining us and have a great week.
Well, hello guys. How you guys doing? We're back again. I'm Kai Kamara again, like always. And I see everybody has a big smile on their face. Where is it? Where is it? Yes.
How you doing, Kay?
Yes, doing good, doing good. How's everything on your side?
Things perfect. Can't complain.
Same here. Doing good.
We're making progress in everything we're doing, everyday work, everyday life, right?
1% every day.
1% every day. I love 1%. But yeah, so, we're back again from, last time that we were together. And I think this is actually really, really good time knowing how the past, maybe we can say, 24 months or something has been, to really catch up and see how everyone has been doing and those kind of things. So again, I'm going to tell you just, briefly, I'm here in Helsinki right now in Finland. Took up an adventure to continue playing professional soccer. And now I'm overseas. I just turned 37, so which is awesome. And now I'm playing in Helsinki, Finland. It's been good. It's been an experience. I love it, but I miss my family. And so it's really tough. And obviously there's still lockdowns over here where there's places, restaurants and things has to close at 10 o'clock. So that's what's been going on with me, just briefly. So I would love for you guys to share with me a little bit, on your side.
Well, for me, it's been starting 5th grade and starting harder math and trying my best. I also started 2 new sports. So I started quite more soccer because I thought when I grow up, I want to take after you, Kai. And also, I started doing karate. And the thing is, you have to remember every single thing in Japanese. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what, Japanese and karate, what do they start? What do you say when you start?
You say, I have a particular starting thing.
Okay.
Well, you sit down, put your knees together, put your feet crisscross, and then you say hi to everybody, so you bow to each other, then you bow
Okay.
sensei, and then you do a meditating pose for about a minute, and then we start doing everything.
Good. Guys, can we, since we just started, can we all give a little bow as a start? There we go. I'm gonna hold you, Leo. So I'm gonna let Basil go first or next and tell me a little bit about what's been going on.
So I've just started high school. It's been really fun. I'm doing a still soccer. Just got a little injury, but I'm gonna start soccer again in a week or two. I have actually been mountain biking for my school, and like it's kind of like a club. It's been really fun. We bike like 20 miles every practice, and and then we also go on races in the mountains, and we get to stay the night there on like resort towns. So it's really fun to do that.
Nice, nice. Would you like to share with us what little injury you've?
And so basically, it happened this August. I was shooting the ball and I kicked too hard. And basically, what happened is the muscle pulled a bone off my hip. So and the bone like disconnected. So like it's been like a month now.
Okay.
And
And what are you doing for rehab?
rehab, I'm just doing physical therapy treatments weekly. So
Okay. And you know, all this rehab, the most important part of this is the mental strength, right?
mhm.
Stay positive, stay
Yeah.
positive, because everything will heal. As you know, you're growing, so
Mhm.
the muscles coming away from your, from your bone, that's just part of you growing. And don't shoot the ball so hard. You
Okay.
know, don't shoot the ball so hard. Leo, what's going on your side?
Hey, just pretty much things progressing with Telus Box. Obviously, big part of Telus Box is the HOLA Kids, and I think what they've impressed me this past year with COVID and everything going on, just them being able to build their own website from scratch is just impressive what they were able to accomplish and make bracelets and just kind of coordinate everything that goes along that line of selling online. They're able to just impress me with that. And uh, on January 8th of last year, I was able to raise for my birthday uh, $500 for them so they can, have something to start on with. And then I kind of doubled down on that and added another $500 so they have $1,000 to start their own. Yeah, so right now they still kind of figure out things and want to do maybe a get together, a fundraiser, kind of showcase their products.
Okay.
And so, but it's been great. I'm totally impressed with what they're able to do at their age.
Um,
Go ahead.
Hi, I have a little question with you, and what you've been doing in Sierra Leone, all with heart-shaped hands.
Yes. Again, Leo, congratulations in the past year for all you guys, really everything you've been doing. And, everyone's progressing, like Leo said in the beginning, 1% every day, right? And that 1% really does matter. It does count in everything we're all doing. So, sorry we missed your birthday, but who else had a birthday? What was it? What was what was your date? Month and date?
August 19th.
Okay, just missed that. So
Yeah.
belated birthdays to you guys. As you ask, heart-shaped hands. Heart-shaped hands. We've been doing. Obviously, we have this big picture of continuing to empower more kids to play sports and go to school at the same time. So student athlete, and as you might not know or may know, in Africa and Sierra Leone, in general, where I'm from, is most kids are want to play sports a lot more than they want to go to school. So we want to encourage, say, if you want to play sports, staying in school, you can do both, like you guys are doing, and going to school and participating in sports if you have. And Toby, it's so now we just gave our first scholarship to a young girl who's also an amputee who participated in the Paralympics. So I met this young girl. It's a great story, actually. I met this young girl. It was on Valentine's Day. She was playing soccer with the boys. And I was very impressed, like, oh, this girl's playing soccer with the boys. Not only that, she had lost her left arm from a childhood accident. But that doesn't hold her. She was really competing. So after the soccer, I was out working out on my own, and she was jogging again to go home. So I stopped her. I was like, "Hey, let me take you home, please." Obviously, she has to be scared. You can't just go in the car with strangers. So I had to call her mom and say, "It's me. It's Kai Kamara, the soccer player. I'm bringing her home, so don't be scared." So we became friends, and I just loved her attitude towards life and sports. And I realized she is going to school and doing really well. And then later, she was going to Tokyo to participate in the Olympics. So luckily, we got blessed by a program in the Boston area. They offered a scholarship for a girl that can participate in their soccer program and go to school. So bingo, Joanne became our first international student who's now going to high mowing school around the Boston area, and she's going to play soccer and she's going to study. So that's what Heart Shape Hands has been doing. But we're all doing stuff daily to try to impact more people's lives and stuff. But so what's the view? I think I need to ask you guys this then, since we've all had masks, we've all been away from friends and family and school, and that those oddness of what really has happened. What are your views in general of everything that's happened in this COVID in the past, let's say in the past year? Let's start with Leo.
For me, I really don't have a let's say the right answer for that, just because I think COVID came around and created a division for a little bit. And I think what we learned from that is that we are a human being, we are a human race, and then we can come together and fix it. And that's the most important part that I learned, that if we choose to do it together and beat COVID and do the right thing for the human race. And I think that's a part that I know that we as human beings, we can make that decision and move forward and not backward.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So yeah, definitely. I believe you in that too. Definitely, we've seen how it has to be a collectiveness. That's the only way we can do this. So yeah, Basil, you want to add to that?
Yeah. So COVID, it hasn't really affected it kind of actually has affected my worldview. Because when COVID came, the way that other countries responded and their citizens, it made me think different about those countries. And then some countries, like, for example, the United States, they responded the same. It's just the citizens responded differently. At first, everyone was wearing masks, and then now, as COVID gets stronger, people are getting sick and tired of masks and they're taking it off. They're protesting, even though the mask isn't really that big of a deal, but for them, they think it's that big of a deal. And it's really affected my view on certain countries and their economies and their citizens, and like what's the word? What kind of, mm, what kind of country they are. Like, are they united? Are they divided?
Right.
It's like New Zealand, they are united. Everyone listened to what the government had said. No one was saying the government was like trying to kill us,
Yeah.
with the masks and stuff. And they listened, and then New Zealand is now COVID free. As all other countries are still going through this problem, but most countries are actually going towards the point where they can become COVID free, as other countries are not.
Right. Right. Definitely, I agree with you. Most of them, not to be bust your bubble or all, but and then recently I heard New Zealand is starting to get cases, but again, that's because they've opened their borders and people are coming in. So that's the bubble that we create sometimes and not letting others in. Sometimes it's good and bad. But when you look at a country like that, again, New Zealand, and how they've really treated and controlled their country during these times, and then to hear that they're having cases, obviously it's sad because now they open the borders. Yes, I go up top there, Toby. How's it been? What's your view?
So the only it's my so COVID hasn't only affected my view of the world, it's affected my view of all entrepreneurs in all, because during the start of COVID, they've all been shut down and just pushed away. And yeah, all the big ones are just left open because they're big and rich. And that's affected quite a bit of things. And COVID affecting my view of the world is that that it's some people are just like ignoring it. They don't want to know it because they've like been either affected by COVID, and that's going to make more people affected by COVID because they're just ignoring it.
Yeah. I hear that. I hear that. And when you talk about, entrepreneurs and stuff, one thing I think about, again, the way we all had to look at this was, how do you come out of COVID? Do you come out of COVID or the lockdowns? Do you come out of it productively, or do you come out of it, being upset and pissed about what you've lost? When you talk about some people have built businesses during these times that they can sit inside, or some people working out at home and now don't have a 24-hour gym membership anymore. Now they're saving money because they found a way, we can go mountain biking instead of, I'm going into the gym and those kind of things. And some have, delivery services with their food, and people are looking at it, so much differently. And while we're talking about COVID, let me ask you guys then, what do you think then of people having to take the vaccine?
I'll start on that one.
Okay.
I think that it has. I think for some people that I think some people should take it, especially the ones who are affected by COVID. But people who not, you know what? It's their choice. They don't have to do it. We don't have to force it upon them. But kids is a whole different situation. Some kids want it, some kids don't. Some take after their parents and want it, and some kids take after other parents and don't want it. So I was thinking that maybe everyone should just have their own choice and not let the government like ruin their consciousness about how they want to choose something.
Right. And Leo, let me ask you this then. So do you think we have a choice as people to whether decide we want to get the vaccine or not? But does your choice that you make, does it affect your people around you? If you don't take it, how can that affect, people around you?
Yeah, it's definitely that's the a big issue as we move forward with COVID. Just having to make that choice, what's best for the family and people around me and those that who I love. Is this something that they are pushing for me to just take? So all those questions are up there, but I feel like if we look at life, we have rules. Soccer has rules. Basketball has rules. Any sports has rules. Life has rules. And what are we gonna do if we want to move forward? We gotta play by the rules.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that I'm kind of learning to accept, that we play by the rules, and if that's what it takes for COVID to get out of here and for us to get back to our normal lives, then why not?
Right.
Yeah, it's a tough, but we just got to move past that and play by the rules.
Yeah. No, and Basil, I'm changing up a little bit. I watched an interview. Lillard, it was basketball player, and Lillard was talking about the vaccine. They asked him, "Have you taken the vaccine?" And he's like, "Yes." And they said, "Well, do you have any other something about what's his take on the vaccine?" And he says, "Well, when we go to school and we're kids and we're younger, they tell us to take all these vaccines, and the parents don't, ask many questions. You just take these vaccines, and we don't do research to do all these things. So why the questions now when everybody wants to say, oh, I don't believe in it after research and all that?" So Basil, if you have to, you're younger, but if your parents says you are going to go take a vaccine, do you ask them a lot of questions on what the vaccine is, or you just go with your parents and says, okay, because you want to listen to your parents?
Well, I'd say like okay, and then I'm gonna ask like a few questions like what's the vaccine for, and what are the effects of it. Those are like the only questions I'm gonna ask, because like of course I'm gonna go take the vaccine again, because like if I don't take the vaccine, I'll affect people around me, and it's better to take the vaccine to be more safe from the virus spreading. Because like again, in general, people, they want to take the vaccine, they don't want to take the vaccine, but the vaccine is recommended to be taken, because like if you take the vaccine, it's sure you feel like bad for one day, but it's worth more than like risking your life for not taking, and risking other people's life. So once you take the vaccine, you can go to school, just be a little cautious, but you can go to public places more often than safer than the person who doesn't have the vaccine. And the people who are like, I don't believe in the vaccine, well, that's their choice. When they get COVID, they'll realize their mistake, and they're also endangering people. So I'd say if you like don't have the vaccine, you shouldn't be allowed into certain public places, or like if you're in line to get a vaccine, then like you should be allowed. You just like, here, let me restate this. So unvaccinated people, they should be allowed into public places. They just have to wear a mask.
Yes.
It's required. But like back to the question, if my parents told me we're going to take a vaccine, yes, I will go with them. But if I'll ask like three questions
Yeah.
about like the basics of the vaccine.
And then obviously, like Toby said, it's really about, you're gonna follow kind of what your parents are doing, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna follow your parents. If your parents are doing something, obviously you believe in them, and positively, whatever they tell you, it's for your own good, whether it's to take it or not take it, but you always have to believe in what they're doing. I want to know a little bit more about that HOLA Kids website that we're talking about. I really want to know what the construction state of that, and how is that going, Leo?
Oh, it's great. They were able to make it a multifunctional website where you can purchase from the website and get your bracelet shipped out to your house. And it's just been incredible how they're able to come up with such um, they just so proactive with what they do that it makes the website much more impressive when you hear that these are kids that build this website and it's just uh, functional. You can go purchase. So I think that's great. That's a part that I love the most. At their age, they're able to do that. I don't know what's next, what will come out of that, but that's something great for sure.
That's good. That's really, really good. How much is it amazing that the whole world, and just like talking about COVID now, when we're living on the internet now with the whole world. So yes, creating your own website and those things, it's amazing. So it's pushing us to, obviously we know that the world is about technology, but how important, that's actually the question it should be. I'll start with Toby on that. How important is technology, going forward, now that in this past, year, what has it really shown us? How important is technology?
We,
Um,
we go ahead.
this year technology is pretty much everything. We go on technology about every day, Facebook, Instagram, everything. But the good thing is that even during COVID times, we could communicate of off website and electronics, and that won't make us feel as lonely, but it could still kind of affect us of being a bit lonely once we realize that we are not together during a lockdown. So also you could research things that are important on the websites, and that could really help you in some cases when you're like in a pickle.
That's so good to think about. But yeah, like in general, with say the technological things that's been invented in the past, or maybe it was invented before, but in the past year, when you're going into a grocery store and now the hand sanitizer is, electronic hand sanitizer, you just put your hand underneath, it sprays your hand and you move on. Like, how is all this gonna impact our lives going forward?
Um, I I actually don't feel like that it'll impact our lives that much, because I think more not electronic things could impact our lives more, like
Mhm.
making friends and reading. And what I think about the electronic things about new COVID is like the electronic hand sanitizer are a lot easier. I mean, it takes more energy to just go over.
Yeah, that's just an example of things. Leo, can you think of anything we can say that we're starting to use more now that after the pandemic?
Uh, use more apps. Um, Definitely like the health part, sanitary part of it, kind of put us all at the okay. We don't want to get in people's area. We want to respect people. So I think we kind of like have that respect now, where we're not overly on top of each other like before. Now we give people space, even so no matter what our beliefs are, we
Mhm.
still give that space where I think that's a part that the respect part where people can now not feel like, oh, I have to be on top of you or behind you, whatnot, and they just give you a space. I think that's one good thing. But technology definitely has advanced so much, and now we live in a virtual era where everything is virtual. So if
Yes,
you don't have
yes.
a business that is virtual technology, uh,
Yeah.
then you probably behind a little bit.
Basil, we were talking about technology now in the pandemic and how much it's impacting and going forward, how important really has this pandemic shown us that, technology is useful in all the things that we do. So what's your take with, going forward? How important is technology going to play in our lives?
Technology is going to be one of the most important roles in our lives. Because, like, as shown past in the big pandemic, when we were all stuck in our homes, how do we communicate through people? Through technology. How do we work? Through technology. How do we, like, order food online? Through technology. So, and like, how did kids go to school? Through technology. So basically, in a situation like this, technology is the only way um, we can survive. I mean, we can kind of like have our normal lives using technology during a pandemic, like staying at home. That requires you to stay at home. And later
Yeah.
in the future, technology is going to be much more advanced, and maybe that if another pandemic happens in like 100 years, maybe we technology will be like so advanced then maybe we can kind of like teleport a sort of like a hologram of us into, but
I
we're
like
actually
that.
but we're there
I like
and we're like living in the world, but we're actually at home safe, and
I like that.
we can be talking to our friends and stuff and like studying. So yeah,
You know,
technology.
I think obviously, no, I'm the most experienced in this group. I wouldn't say age-wise, but if you can think about the past or what I've learned or what I've heard or research about the past pandemics, let's say, even if it's the chicken pox or the swine flu and stuff like that, when they had these pandemics, then again, technology wasn't the biggest thing. So little as, Instagram, as, Toby mentioned earlier, Instagram and maybe TikTok and all this, like, but these are the news outlets nowadays. This is where we get all the information. This is where we get everything. So it's really helped to me. I see that the little technologies that we do have now has really helped us spread information, whether it's, you know, good information or not so useful information. So definitely, to myself going forward, for example, if anything was to happen, let's say the drones become something more important in deliveries, all these things are going to be, you know, really, really cool to see. But as Sobi mentioned, again, I'm going to say, I keep saying your name over and over, it takes away from human interaction. And human interaction is what we know and what we're used to, and that's what we love. That's why we hug each other. You know, friends hug to say hello and friends hug to say goodbye. But now when it becomes to just, you know, fist bumps, we're taking away from human interaction. Leo, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I totally agree. And with technology, that's what is taken away, because now we would rather have likes and comments than hugs. So that's a trade-off. I think, with technology that's coming and taking over, people are more inclined towards getting most likes, most views than getting the hugs and the actual care and the presence of the human, you know, being. And I think that's one thing we have to work through and find balance. But I think that technology is great and it's literally putting food on the table for a lot of families, and we can take that away. So
No, definitely. You can't take that away. And, you know, the positive, we have to live through it. We can't ignore it. You know, the older you get, you can say, okay, for example, I downloaded Roblox on my phone because my 6-year-old wants to play Roblox. So I want to learn how to play it.
so you guys can play. Well,
Exactly, exactly. So we can't overgrow ourselves because, oh, it's just like, again, because of, you know, pandemic now, we can't just say, oh no, older people can't cry and say, oh, okay, well, no, this is not like when we had our pandemic back in the days. We can never overgrow on these things. We have to get used to the new things that come out, right?
move forward.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything else to add about technology?
No, that's basically the gist of it for us.
Right. Any more topic we need to cover up on this?
I think we covered all COVID.
Yeah.
I
The
don't
problem.
really, I can't really think of a topic. We talked about COVID,
Right.
technology, ourselves.
I have an idea. How
Yes.
has COVID and all affected just everybody in the startup world?
Right.
I think COVID came in and everybody has different visions and ideas that they had to adapt with COVID. Again, COVID
Hold
came.
on, hold on. Before you say that, can you, when you're saying that, can you talk about like startup first, Leo?
Yeah,
Say,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, refer to startup
Yeah.
people.
With the startups, I think that COVID impacted the startup in a positive way, because now everybody had to come up with COVID and find new technologies. And I think the startups that came up with COVID-19 were able to figure that out, uh, how they can strive during the pandemic. And that makes it easier post-pandemic to just continuously grow. But if you were able to sustain and be effective during the pandemic, I think COVID has some benefit in this past year.
Okay. Basil?
I would say COVID has affected everyone in the startup world because it also has affected everyone like who's already started up their company. For example, in a startup world, if you're trying to build a sort of a technology that helps people communicate easier, that would be more successful during COVID because during COVID, during lockdown, people are stuck in their houses. And if there's a new way to communicate, they'll probably use it. Or if your startup was to create a sort of a new sanitary brand to create cleaning supplies, that would also be very successful. But if your startup was like a restaurant, like a dine-in restaurant, then you'd struggle a lot during COVID. And if another thing is if your also startup is a clothing store, you would struggle and you would kind of thrive during COVID too, because you can also make your clothing sell online. But it also would kind of fail because there's also many other clothing stores out there. So it's not really what's expected that everyone would buy your clothing brand during the pandemic. And also for really big companies like restaurants, really big popular restaurants had to shut down because of COVID, as other companies like Zoom or like some hand sanitary brand.
Right.
Like
Startup companies. Yeah. People that's thinking about, starting something up. And I love that. I love that idea. And I know my take to startups and how it's there's always, pros and cons, but the cons to it could be some people have spent a lot of money to, launch in 2020. And obviously now they have to, push it back. So all this money that they've spent and looking forward to having their company start, now, or thinking this is the year, or 2021 was going to be the year that, that they decline in profit and all that. So that, really could affect them. But if you're not startup, let's talk about somebody getting married. Some people that had, plans and spend this money to, get married and have to push it. I know we have more important things in life, which is health, but again, this is all part of us, putting our brains in something and planning something and starting up something and looking forward to it. And then when you have to wait and push it back, sometimes it does affect. But I hear the positives from what you said there, Leo. Definitely, people can have time now to rethink, to see how is it going to be? Like we just talked about, it might be a technological world. So now if you were trying to start something where you had a store, as Basil was saying, where people can come buy stuff, now you're going to add that online aspect to it and make it more friendly so people can, get an app and then, get something online.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
Virtual world.
Right. So did you want to add something about startup? What you're thinking?
I'll add a little bit to Leo's. I think that since COVID happened, not as much purchases are happening because everybody's worrying about their personal lives.
Mhm.
So people had time to regroup and think about what they're going to do in the future.
That's
Okay.
a good one. That's a good one. But no, it's good. Again, it's the first thing I said before. It's for all of us, whether some people wanted to work out at home and some people are building businesses, or some of you guys are doing online schooling. It was all about how do we come out of this? Where are you going to be when the world goes back to full effect? For example, I'm fully vaccinated, but yes, we wear a mask and stuff. So around here, public transportation is one of the biggest thing here. Train, trams, metros, bikes, scooters, they're all over. So you share these things a lot and you touch a lot of things. But when I have a mask, like when the place is getting a little bit cold now and I come out of a train, sometimes I keep my mask on for the next, 10, 15 minutes I'm walking, because it just keeps you warm. So I said, if that mask is going to keep you warm when it becomes cold over there, then the people that's complaining about wearing a mask, trust me, they're gonna wear a mask because it just makes them feel warmer.
For sure. Sure.
Yeah, it does. So any last words that you guys want to say? I'm going to give everybody a chance to what you're thinking about the year and how it's been, just like brief, and then what you're looking forward to in the next year or 6 months, let's say.
I'd be looking forward to is COVID ending and all, and everybody just getting back to their full selves and not just being bummed by COVID.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And yeah, I just want everybody to recover, be like more sympathist to say this,
It's early.
energized.
Sympathetic.
Yes,
Yeah.
sympathetic about everybody
Right.
and everybody not just being stressed and all.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. We need to finish the next 3-4 months and just finish the year strong. I think that's the most important part. Is like we coming to uh, the last stretch of the year, and I think we need as a human race together just keep pushing and encourage one another because that's all we have. Inspiration, be an inspiration to somebody else. I
Yeah.
think being an inspiration to someone else will make this world definitely a better place and finish the year strong.
Good. And Leo, is there any big plans for the group for HOLA Kids in the next few months?
Yeah, the HOLA Kids, I think they're way ahead of what I expected. Uh, was very impressed, and I think right now I just want them to focus on school and kind of get it back to the norms. And with that being said, once everything established at school, then they'll be able to even present their website and what they have going to the school, and that's going to be a school project that they can work on and present to the class that that's what they worked during the pandemic, and they weren't just kind of sitting around and playing games and doing that stuff. So
Okay.
that's good, yeah.
Good, good. And Basil, are you launching a clothing line pretty soon that you want us to come to the store and buy or order online?
No, I just thought of that.
But I loved it. I loved it anyway. So yeah, if you looking forward 6 months from now, how do you see, what do you want to see going forward?
I want to see again what I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Again, yeah, I want to see COVID ending, and then like I want to see like the world coming back together, uniting, and also like for personally, I want to see myself learning more about technology, learning more about coding, maybe starting up a small little company in that aspect.
Okay. And coding. Okay, that's good. That's good. Well, I want to see you guys again, and hopefully one day we can all sit somewhere and and have a talk together instead of being online. Even though thanks to the pandemic, it's really introduced us to find times in different schedules so we can all get together no matter where we're at, but on one platform. So that's really good. But since we can't hug each other, we're all gonna fist pump. Boom,
There you go.
boom, boom. I love it.
Kai, I
All
have
right.
one more little question, just
Okay.
a little bit of more time. In the situation that you are right now, and you're a 6-year-old, let's say, what would you tell yourself?
Oh, if that's going back 31 years, basically, I tell myself as a 6-year-old, which would be my daughter's age, Karen's age, what I would tell her is don't spend too much time on the technology. It's amazing, but be outside and enjoy being outside, because that's how I grew up. And the fact that the technology is starting to play such a big role now, it can take away from a lot of kids. Again, you're taking away from friends. So I want to make sure that I can still get with my friends and be outside and enjoy time with my friends more.
What I would tell myself as a 6-year-old is that I haven't seen this yet, but now that I know this, that many people in my school have tried to do a business successfully, but have failed. So if I were myself, I would say, as a 6-year old, since I haven't seen anybody fail as a business yet, I would say I can do this. I can pass this situation. I would be quite positive because, yes, that's how 6-year-olds
Good,
are.
good. Anyone else want to add to that, or?
I think that we covered it all.
Good, good. All right. I think that's the end of the recording. But again, guys, really, really appreciate you guys. Obviously, I know it's early over there. It's 5 p.m. here in Helsinki, and I appreciate you guys coming on here and hanging out. And you have a, beautiful day, a wonderful month, and wonderful rest of the year. And get some hugs when you can. All right, let's not run away from hugs.
Yeah, you have a good season and wonderful good news ahead of you. Bring back the cup, whatever we need it, and we in full support of you and right behind you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you a lot,
Thank you.
Castle and Leo, for coming
Thank
on
you,
here and participating with us for Denver Startup Week. I really
Thank you, Ron.
appreciate that because we didn't have anybody who would wanted to have to do this last or
It's good. It's good. We got a good group. We covered some good things. So I love it. I love we were able to do that, Denver Startup Week, and keep moving forward.
Let's go.
Cheers, guys.
You guys, bye.
All right.